Season 2, Episode 23 of the Printerviews. I'm your host, Colin Sinclair McDermott, aka the Online Print Coach, and today, surprise, surprise, I'm joined by another very special guest. We've been speaking about doing this for quite some time. I was on his podcast earlier this year. Warren Werbitt, the Print Whisperer. Thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be a guest and not a host.
It's nice to flip it sometimes, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, I can't imagine many people, and certainly in your side of the pond, won't have come across you at some point. But for us over here in the UK and wherever else you're listening from the world, tell us a little bit about Warren Werbitt. Who are you? Just a kind of brief intro into who you are and what you do.
So I'm Warren Werbitt, but you got that part already. I've been in print most of my life. When I started, I had an afro, no more. I've done all kinds of, I'll say everything in print from, when we started Pazazz with just two little AB Dicks. I'll skip the 27-year history, but in the end, we were 56-inch offset UV, 40-inch. We were IGN 5s, we were Flexo, we were large format, we were mailing, basically doing it all. And that all came about because as I was building, not to be cliche, but I think I was one of the first that started under one roof, like way back in when FSE started. And we had done everything along the way. And actually what was really cool was the thing that put me on the map in the industry was that video, Printing's Alive. I don't know if everyone's seen it or not. Hopefully you have. Never heard one bad comment. Actually, one person thought I was abusing my son in the video, which was kind of funny. His head was so big after the video, we couldn't even get him in the house. But that video put me on the map. And then from working, I think I was one of the first print owners to believe in marketing, in that we had a full-time marketing person dedicated in-house. Everything that I did was about the team, culture, building the business, and the marketing. So the marketing, I think, if I've learned anything, marketing is really the most important thing in any business, in any industry, because you need to let people know who you are. And my idea was to let people know that we existed, that we cared, that we were constantly doing things to push the envelope. Just to give you a couple quick examples, we weren't just FSC certified, we were FSC, PFC, SFI, $12,000 a year on certifications. I would not recommend anybody do them anymore. You don't need them. We constantly did our own promos and samples and sending out. Why? Had to give the salespeople something to go with to see customers then. It's harder today, but to go have a reason, because you couldn't then just knock on the door and say, do you have anything to quote? Although some legacy salespeople still think that exists, it doesn't. We were the first to do Pantone certification in offset, large format, digital, and Flexo. If you ask Pantone, I think I'm the only one who asked for that. Why did I ask for that? Not because I cared so much about Pantone and all that other stuff, because we were pretty good. Pat on the shoulder, just a little joke. But this is the kicker. Everybody on the team works hard. You can't keep asking people to work harder. It just doesn't work. It backfires. So my thinking was, with all these certifications in Pantone, was to elevate the level in which we worked, and to be able to say to the team, folks, huddle, team huddle. Everybody's looking at us right now because, the video was a little loud. Everyone's looking at us. So I've just found something that will elevate us again and keep it out there and let people know that we care and we're working hard and color, etc. So you let the team know that that the company's great, everyone's looking, everybody will elevate themselves. You're not telling them that they have to do something. You're not imposing something. Anyway, so all that marketing stuff came about, and we just kept moving and grooving. And I happen to love print, so everything and anything about it that I touch just became part of me within the business. And at the end of the day, we were about a $20 million operation. We were about 120 people. I will say, I miss having the business. I don't miss having 120 employees or patients, whatever you want to call them. But I learned a hell of a lot. Today, I wear multiple hats, which is kind of funny because I don't know, I got the attention span of a pea sometimes. But I act as the print whisper. Funny, I don't whisper, I scream. I put out my book, I have my podcast. As the print whisperer, I work with some print organizations that want help. I have no patience to deal with people who just want to talk and don't want to do anything. Keep your money and just leave me the fuck alone. I need people who want action. I'm partners with my brother in a label company called Stick 2, where we are BCGS certified for food at the highest level. I would check out Stick 2. I just put a video together of the plant, 17-inch, 12 color, 10 colors, HP, indigos. And again, that company is just about service. I don't work in it day to day because it's just my brother and I as partners, and I love my brother. I don't want to fight with him and end up as enemies. So I strategically help and I work on some of the marketing. And then I help another company called Nova Glue, which is part of Felix Gluer, where they've come out with this new it's like a CNC machine, but instead of a laser head, it's got hot cold glue. I got involved with JF because two reasons. One, I've never seen anything like it. If I was an owner, I would want it. It's something where I'm calling people that I know and don't know. And if the owner can't look at it and figure out the benefit and the ROI, he doesn't deserve or she doesn't deserve to have it. There's no push. Never really liked the OEMs and how they did ROIs and how they talk to you about your business. This one, I'm bringing something to someone which is just total benefit all around. And JF is a 35-year-old guy who I just want to help build with him because I think he's awesome. And I think we as elders, I'll say elders, just because I became a grandfather 4 months ago, which I'm still like, whoa. If we don't do our part to take some people under our wing and help them get further down the road, no one's going to succeed.
Yep. Right, I'm going to jump in because I think I need to rein you in a couple of times. And I knew this was going to be tough because you like to talk print. And I want to let people know that I'm still on the podcast as well. But I want to touch on the video because...
Ask me small questions.
Small questions. I first came across you on YouTube, actually, via that video. And as I said on a LinkedIn post earlier on, fast forward to 2026, and here we are, buddies, and fellow All-Stars as well, which we'll come to later. But that video, I thought, was absolute genius, to be honest. Before I'd even met you, to be honest with you as well. What was the inspiration behind that video? Because it was really comical, and your poor son, he did look like he'd taken a beating that day, to be fair. But I just loved it. It had everything that we all feel about the industry, but with a kind of comical twist as well.
Yeah. So it's funny when people ask me. First of all, my son was most happy because he got a day off of school to do it. So honestly, what came about with the video was I happened to see another video that was done for the corrugated industry by this company. And I thought, wow, pretty cool video. And then I thought, YouTube is pretty new. What is YouTube? No one really knew.
Because this was back, 2007?
Yeah, I don't even like to say the date because that dates me. But I was a lot heavier and I didn't look as good as I do now. I've actually aged quite well. But so the idea then was just to have some fun. I mean, I think I was 40 or 42 at the time. Not your typical owner, big into the party, big into the rave. The average age in the company was young, right? And the video was really just for fun. And I thought, hey, maybe a couple of customers will see it, some friends will see it, and what the hell? So I called up a friend of mine who does video and different things. We came up with a pretty quick script. I read it once. I was like, oh my God, I love it. And we went ahead and did it. And when people ask me today what was my thinking, I tell them I had a vision, but I had no vision. It was luck.
You were just winging it,
like everything else, right? Today, I haven't changed much. And then put the video out, and I'm sitting there, and I see 100 views, 500 views. Now I'm jumping up and down because I don't even know what I'm jumping about, but I'm just seeing that people are watching it. And then the phone rings, and it's Reuters News. Reuters somewhere saw it, picked it up, called me, wanted an interview on it. I'm like, news is on the phone. Like people, I was calling people into the office. I'm like, what the fuck? And I did that. And then all of a sudden, all the trade magazines in print picked it up. And then I became the video guy. I became like, the next best thing after the Gutenberg, because I'm going to say this just point blank. We're an old fucking industry, like really old. And we got a lot of old people. And 20 years ago, we had more old people with more old attitudes. So I think people just embraced it.
Yeah.
What I would say is, I like to think I follow in some ways along the same lines as Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V. You should check it. I'm Gary Senior, by the way, just because I'm the older version. When I was swearing, it wasn't really, it was frowned upon. He made it okay.
He made it popular, didn't he?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I like about Gary V for anybody who's listening. He talks to the younger people, and you should be listening to Gary V whether you like him or you don't like him, because you want to hear what the younger people are hearing. If you hear what they're hearing and you know what they're thinking, you could better react and respond with them as opposed to just being that old doofus who doesn't know what to do, and you can get a little hipper. And it was just the video went out, and then the other thing I learned along the way, I didn't know marketing before. Okay. When I was done school, my degree was AFS.
Yeah.
Almost finished school. I never made it through university, but I needed a degree on LinkedIn. So I wrote AFS in the years I tried to go to school. But I didn't know about marketing, but I learned about marketing. And then the biggest thing I learned about that I learned later was about personal branding.
Yeah.
I now have, fast forward, a personal brand. So today, everybody talks about a brand. A brand is really any product. In the old days, a brand was Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and a higher end. So we've kind of put it in there. So I've just learned what a brand is and made it just easier to understand other things that go on and how to do things. And then it makes it even easier when I talk to people to explain. But I didn't know anything. It's the school of hard knocks.
For anyone who's not seen the video, go check it out. Search YouTube for the Print Whisperer. It'll come up fairly quickly. I've also posted about it on LinkedIn this morning as well at the time of recording this. But listen, let's talk about Pazazz, because you and I share a very similar story. We've both lost businesses. Your business was much bigger than mine. But Pazazz, obviously, you were doing all right. Kind of 120 staff, 20 million revenue, you said. So there was definitely success in there. Kind of, before we kind of get to the negative stuff, like, when did you realize that you'd built something really special with Pazazz?
I don't know that I ever realized that I built something special. I think, I come from nothing. When I started, my brother and I, we had 2 rented AB Dick 360s. I don't know if anyone knows what those are, but they're duplicators. We had a collator. We were selling by day, printing at night, delivering, and asking for a 5% discount to be paid right away, right? And then it's funny, when I sat down, I built a 15-year plan with a sales projection.
Yeah.
But that's all I did. I took an Excel sheet and I went 327, 723, 1050, 1436. Somehow at the end of 15 years, I was at that number, a bit forward and back. But yeah, you just, I don't know, you just go. There's no plan, and I don't think anyone successful truly looks at themselves as being successful in that way. When I lost the business, I realized that a lot of people look at success as the wealth that you're left with. I wasn't left with any wealth at the end, but I was left with a vast amount of experience of places I've been. I've been around the world 4 times. I have friends in every country. I could pick up the phone and call all kinds of people. Most will take the call. Some will hang up. And really, that's my wealth, not dollars. Dollars is good in many cases. It helps even if you're miserable. But when you do it yourself internally, and you're meeting and you're learning. So I feel good about myself. I don't feel good about my bank account, but at the end of the day, it's not the end. It's not the end all, right?
No, definitely not. What do you kind of looking? Obviously, we've both got the benefit of insight into a lot of other printing companies today. What decisions do you think most printing businesses still underestimate?
Sorry, say that again.
What kind of decisions do you think that most printing businesses still underestimate?
That's a tough question. So, first of all, there's many different businesses. There's small,
Mm-hmm.
medium, and big. There's companies that are well financed, not well financed. There's companies that have good human resources and don't have good human resources. So, depending on the company and what availability they have to them to do things,
Mm-hmm.
it varies. But culture number one to me is most important. Anything I'm going to say right now all starts with the owner or the top of the company or the
Yeah.
leadership. If the owner's listening and you're not walking the talk and talking the walk, how dare
Mm-hmm.
you expect anyone in your business to be doing any better than you? So look at yourself,
Agree.
question yourself, and then decide how you want the others to be, right? Because you have to
Mm-hmm.
lead by example. Um, but the culture is one. Marketing in the sense of letting people know that you are there, letting them know exactly what you do,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is key. And first of all, I'm about to start doing this, and I'm going to be hated by people. I'm about to start ripping apart print websites that are awful shit and show machinery on the front. Our customers don't give a shit about what we run. They don't care. They don't know. They don't want to know. They want to know what you're going to do to help them and what it's going to
Yep.
look like at the end. So
Mm-hmm.
watch out for me because I'm coming after you. We have so many amazing print companies in the world that are doing it right. Unfortunately, we
Mm-hmm.
don't talk enough about them. We talked
Yep.
about the others. My
Mm-hmm.
parents never talked about what I did good. They only talked about what I did bad. So I guess that's why we do it. We learned from our
Mm-hmm.
parents. But yeah, just take an internal look. A lot of companies don't have to do that much to change the dial to up it a little. And
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing is follow through with what you talk about.
Yeah.
Make a plan, right?
No, I don't disagree, and I agree with you. I might not necessarily turn to ripping people's websites to shreds, but I'll leave that to you. But again, we don't talk enough about. Again, I see people posting. We spoke about this in our print mastermind community last week. Um, People posting about the new bit of kit they've just invested in and shiny objects. The customers, most customers don't give a damn. They're more interested in what solutions you can solve for them, and that's what should be on the front page of their website, not the fancy new kind of
Well,
P2P
I'll tell you about
talk.
I'll tell you about the customers who give a damn, and most of us don't
Mm-hmm.
have them. Those are the companies that run high production of their product and they move and they run around the clock and they want to know what you have because they want to know that you're capable of actually supplying them on the continuous basis.
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola, the beer companies, the food companies, etc.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
of our other customers, the ad agencies and the others, don't
Don't care.
know, don't care. If you think about what we do in our day, we don't have time to care about a lot of shit that we deal with. So just put yourself in your customer's shoes. Neither do they. It's pretty simple.
Do you know this? I think this might be the first podcast. You're going to get a medal for this when I see you in Vegas next month. This will be the first podcast I've had to actually put for adults only on when I publish it to Spotify. But I didn't expect anything differently today, and anyone who knows you knows this is how you are the Gary Vee of the print industry. But listen, let's talk about the flip side of the success that you had with that business. Where did it go wrong? And I think this is really the golden nugget of this conversation because you and I know this is where the valuable lessons are learned.
So I'll take a few minutes just with a little trail because
Hmm.
it wasn't about, in the end, it was one thing that was somewhat out of my control. But if I think back earlier, you could control it. So I generally had a pretty good run of the business, building it, starting it, going up. Everything I made always went back in.
Hmm.
So we started in '92. In June 2000, no, in yeah, no 2007, excuse me, is when I started looking at putting in a new press. I did not want to put a 40-inch press in because everyone had one. I decided to put a 56-inch KBA UV 6 color off the ground from point 0.2 paper to 40 point substrate. Like my plan was amazing. Small glitch. The day we move in, everything's ready to go. I open up the newspaper, and Lehman Brothers went bust in the U.S. beginning of the 2008 financial crisis, which affected everyone, including Canada. Nobody wanted what I had because everyone wanted to pay 30% less for what they were doing. Everyone was in panic mode in business. Everyone. Heidelberg Canada filed for protection, all of these companies. 2010, I ended up having to file for protection. Probably the worst and scariest thing I've ever done in business, especially when you're coming off 15 years of, being the poster boy, so to speak, and doing no wrong. And let me just tell you quickly what happened, because how I dealt with it, I think, helped us after. I go to a meeting with the bank. Banks don't give a shit for us no matter what. They just want to make sure that they're protected and covered, and they don't even hear what you say. They just look at number, protection, guarantee, number, protection, and when they're not good, they go foot. So it was HSBC. They call me into a meeting. I go with my lawyer, my accountant, and because I don't know what I am, it's like a $9,000 meeting. And they basically proceed to tell me back then that they are calling my loan. They want me out of the bank. I went from not using my line of credit pretty much ever to going to the maximum $2 million in 18 months, just because of the times. And then so when they told me that, I kind of lost my marbles a little bit. I left the meeting. I went home. I got drunk because that was the only thing that could separate my feelings at the time. Big mistake getting drunk. Woke up in the morning. Not only did I have to deal with it, but I had a headache. What did I do? This is the critical part. I went to the office and I gathered every employee together. 120 people in the lunchroom. Stood in front of them. I will tell you, for one of the first times, I was extremely nervous. I proceeded to tell them what had happened, the bank, that I had to do the filing, that I'm getting nervous as I say it now, that I'm not letting anybody go, that I'm making salary adjustments. If you're management, it's 30%, and down if you're making under 40, there's no adjustment because you can't take anything away. And the goal will be to get back as soon as possible. I asked everybody if they were okay with it. If anyone was not okay with it, I said, you come up here and you decide who gets fired. Nobody came up. After that, I walked around the plant. I spoke to every single person for 10 minutes, one-on-one, to make sure they understand. I did not lose one employee. The next thing I did was I then went and I called all my suppliers. My suppliers were freaked out that I called them because they said we never got a call from anyone before getting the letter from the bank. I said, listen, I just did an $8 million expansion. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be on COD for a while, but I need you to hear from me the facts. Then I started calling my customers, the big ones, the ones we did a lot of business, because more importantly, they needed to know what was up, because they're running their own businesses. And at any cost, I could not try to save anything by not informing them, and then hiccups, right? When I did that, all of them were like, no problem, buddy. We appreciate the phone call. We're all business owners. We've been there. One guy I owed 30 grand credit to. He says, I'll do 2 grand a month with you. Wrong time. Blown away. Completely blown away. I go to
But
my
people appreciate that transparency and the integrity that you've got there as well.
Well, they see it because no one does that. And I'm shaking like a leaf as I'm doing it. When I was standing in front of the employees, I said to them, I'm so nervous I don't want to look down, but I think I wet myself. Right? And then they all kind of chuckled. This was actually, I've got a few touching points in the history, but I went to one of my suppliers, who's a big customer. No, it's not supplier, big customer, really big. And I went to tell him because we had a mutual customer that we were both working for that put us together. And I told him what happened and what it was up. And he said, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm out looking for money, to keep going. I've got to get an investment. He said, what are you looking for? And I told him, and he wrote a check on the spot at his desk. He had his girl write a check for half of the amount, said, we'll do the paperwork next week. And he gave it to me. And I walked out of there and I was speechless. I could not believe that. I then had to do all the regular trustee shit with the banks and the this and that. did all that. I got out of bankruptcy protection in 51 days in the middle of a recession. That was my highlight, because at that, when you said to me, how do you know you're successful? I didn't think in terms of successful. I thought then in terms of honorable, because everyone I talked to as a mentor, as someone smarter than me in business, were blown away saying that's all because you play it straight. So even with my mouth and doing, I learned it's about being straight. Fast forward 2019, when we came to an end, the ending had a double-edged sword on it. So the first thing that happened was 2018 was a little tough. I put all kinds of money back in the business. 2019, I had, out of 20 million, I had one customer giving us $2 million. Except the $2 million was net. They supplied all the media. And on my big press, I'm running like 2 shifts on a 56-inch press for them. We were one of the largest canvas producers at the time in North America. They were sold to an equity company. I hate you all, unless you're giving me money. Sold to an equity company that then decided they are going to move the production from Montreal to Mexico because they want to squeeze more money out. I won't talk about the issues the company had and the 400 people they let go, but you can't replace $2 million in 12 months. $2 million of print sales regular is probably $6 million with all, you know, buying all the material, doing all of that. So ran out of runway. We then did a filing. People don't remember why you did the first time, even though it was legit and everything. They just remember the second time that you did it the first time. A year prior, I brought in someone to be president so that I can go back to marketing, selling, and doing my thing with my minority partner. At the end of the day, when we did the filing, the guy I brought in as president basically, I believe, somehow convinced my minority partner that I was no longer needed. They bid on the equipment at the bank. They won the silent auction, which they were the only bidders. I thought the whole time I was working with them to move forward. So I was doing all this work and not going anywhere else or talking to anyone else when they were setting up to bang me out. So they got it, and then I was basically walked to the door of my own business.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That must have hurt.
Just a teeny-weeny bit. Well, the funny thing was, not only did it hurt, but the guy that I brought in as president had just finished telling me how he worked somewhere for 17 years, the company was sold, and that president walked him to the door because of the new owners and how he felt, and he obviously didn't learn anything because he did the same thing to me. So yeah, it kind of sucked. My ego was bruised. My email was, the only email I ever had was cut off after 27 years. It took me, I had a whole string of bad things that happened after, but it took me, and then COVID, blah, blah. So it took me a couple of years to roundabout. And you know what? Today I'm really good. I'm good in my own skin. I'm good with what I do. I really just want to help people succeed because no reason for other people to be in pain if they don't have to. And I do all kinds of stuff. So you learn, you go, and nothing like a good life coach to get you on track, right? I can tell you I'm 5 years in. I'm 5 years into her. I speak to her once a month. I'm afraid to let her go.
Yeah, she's doing a good job. She's doing a good job.
Yeah.
But listen, that's a lot to go through, and I appreciate. Thank you for being so honest as well. And you kind of the conversation we kind of go this way as well. And actually, as you're speaking, it's bringing back a lot of emotions that I went through. Again,
it's
different.
It's tough.
Size,
it's tough.
Scale, but it is. But do you know what? It might sound really stupid to say, but I'm actually grateful for the experience that I went through. I don't know if you feel the same.
No, so I'm going to cut you for a sec. It's not stupid, and nothing you do in business or learn is stupid. Same way your teachers used to say to you, ask questions. There's no stupid question. I was stupid because I was sitting in the back of the class looking out the window. I never asked a question. But what you just said, I'm not happy that it happened.
Of course not. No, I wish I hadn't put myself and my wife through the challenges that I did, but I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing just now, and you certainly wouldn't be doing what you're doing just now. And we're helping people. And I think, do you know what? Out of bad situation, you've got to bring something good, and I think we've both been through an experience there that allows us to go. And we touched on success earlier on, like, and again, this was another conversation we've had in our community recently. Like, how do you define success? I think someone had asked about kind of what are the traits of the successful people in the industry, but success means something completely different to every single individual. But what we get to do, and I guess success for me is giving. It's been able to give that knowledge and that experience, and I'm sure you'll agree as well. Like, if I can stop even one person from making one mistake that I made, and it helps them get to where they want to be quicker, that's success to me. And I don't know, would you echo that? Is that how you approach things?
Yeah, well, you know, forget us. I mean, don't forget us because we're important. But in general, if you listen to most people out there that are helping others in whatever capacity it is, what does everybody say? If I make a difference in one person's life, I've done good, right?
Yeah.
And if you've done two persons, listen, I will tell you that consulting wise, I would probably do a lot better if I actually charge more for what I do instead of giving it away. But I can't help it. I had a person, great story. I had a person call me a few years ago, and when I first started talking to them, they wanted to leave their job and look for a new one. So at the time, the business person in me said, hey, I could act as a recruiter now. I'm going to call 5 or 6 companies I know. I'm going to offer them this person at half the price of a regular recruiter, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur and a deal maker. And in the end, none of them wanted him. But I kept talking to him. And as he's going, other stuff came up. And finally, there was something that came up that we discussed and that he took. And at the end of the day, he sent me a note and he says, like, you know, thanks for your help. You changed my life.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's the stuff.
It's a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect that these conversations have. Like, and I'm sure we've both got plenty like that. Like when you see the impact, not just what it has on the business, but what it has on the people's lives, their personal lives, their wives, their husbands, their kids. You don't just impact that one person. It's a ripple effect that comes with that, and that's why this job is so rewarding. But you need to stop selling yourself short.
Listen, you do it. I do it. I do. At the end of the day, I sleep okay. Not a great sleeper, but I just like to go and go and do and talk and off. Listen, the other biggest thing I've learned out there, you know, is to wear smaller shoes, because when I get stuck in my mouth, it's easier to get out. But I could back up.
That happens.
But I'm comfortable in my own skin that if I'm not right and someone calls me out on something, I'm learning again. Life is about, at the end of the day, you know, at one point I'm sure I had somewhat of an ego as the business was going up and I'm doing all kinds of stuff. And then you go through that life correction and you just see things a little differently. You know, not only do you see things differently, your needs and your wants change as you go.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all good. And today, I mean, as far as the industry goes, I think the industry's great. I think I could be one of the more passionate print owners out there. I think that our industry not only is the best, but no other industry could survive without ours in some form, some way, a direction, an instruction, how to manual to put together. Not that I ever read those, catalog, brochure. So we together, and I hope that the industry could just, you know, somehow adopt a common path of knowing why we're here, doing what we do.
That's why these conversations are so important as well. And I think there is a shift happening. There's definitely a shift happening because there's people like you and I and lots of the friends that we have in the industry constantly kind of repeating this and kind of hammering the message home. And I do see change happening. I really do. I hope we continue to see that. Tell us a little bit. So you've reinvented yourself since COVID. Kind of you've come out. You're doing consulting as a print whisperer.
I've come out of the closet after COVID.
You've come out of the closet. You're doing speaking gigs. You've got your own podcast. kind of you're building that personal brand, but we spoke about you're staying relevant. Like, how difficult was it to start again?
Oh, it's brutal. So, yeah, it's brutal. It takes a lot of work, and I'll just give you a quick thing. So I lost my business. 2 months later, my mother passed after a quick illness. 2 months
I'm
after
sorry.
that, yeah, it's okay, thank you. 2 months after that, my ex-mother-in-law, she passed. She old age. Then I'm thinking, oh shit, what's Warren gonna? No. Then I was gonna take the summer off and go fish for 6 months because it's been 27 years of working. And I go around the corner going to pick up the boat, and someone stole my boat and trailer.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
that was probably worse than losing my business.
Hmm.
Then I'm thinking, what's Warren going to do 2.0? I start planning something, and then COVID rolls in, and I get wiped out because no one's going
Yeah.
anywhere. Then we go into lockdown, and my 8-year relationship, she decides she's done, she leaves. So I had 18 months, every 2 months of a world heavy or a life
Hmm.
heavy falling on you.
Yeah.
That's when my first wife, only wife, ex-wife, I hate ex though, because she's great, recommended the life coach, and it took me 6 months before I was good to even talk to myself in my head again,
Hmm.
because I went into like total lockdown, and it took a couple years to get a little bit of comfort, right?
Yeah.
And then once I did that, I never had a problem talking to people, but
Hmm.
it's how you carry yourself and how you walk. So
Hmm.
I got into a really good place. I learned that I'm responsible for my own doing and my own being. That's it.
Hmm.
And to this day, it's still a work in motion. It's really, you try not to get jammed up in certain things, which I still do, but then I've learned to dial them back. But
Yeah.
life is complicated.
I've seen you calm down quite a lot over the last couple of years, for sure. Yeah, you're a lot more mellow and chilled than I thought you were going to be when we first met, certainly. But listen, I resonate. Again, our paths are very, very similar. And again, probably around similar times on the calendar. Like I was going through very much the same. And I think I've spoke about this in the podcast before, but like certainly just before COVID, I kind of went through kind of what you were saying there. You don't just get one thing; you get two things, you get three things, and I literally could not leave the house. I couldn't walk the dog, couldn't go to the supermarket. Yeah, it wasn't good. Probably for about 3 or 4 months anyway, I couldn't leave the house without having a kind of complete meltdown. And I was very lucky. I managed to get some therapy. So not a life coach, but I got a therapist for the best part of 7 or 8 months, and my goodness, what a relief that was to get some
Ev-
things off your chest and yeah,
Everybody,
uncover things that I didn't know
no.
were a problem.
Well, so everybody, first of all, there's nothing wrong with having a therapist, kind of like having
Mm,
a print specialist, or a print coach. Um,
absolutely.
but I'm going to recommend to everyone that you should go get a therapist.
Mm,
And a therapist doesn't mean a psychiatrist. Psychiatry makes you
yeah.
think crazy.
Hmm.
You need a psychologist. You need someone
Hmm.
to talk to that understands, because then you
Hmm.
have your cone of silence, kind of like Maxwell Smart, if anyone used to watch Max Smart. And I got to a point where I could say anything, because if you don't tell the truth, you're
Mm,
just faking yourself, and you're never going to solve your problem.
yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I uncovered things that were issues for me that I actually had no idea were issues for me. Like, without sounding cliche, and obviously younger experiences in life and things as well. But again, I swear by we spoke about this quite openly. One of the Sheet for Brain sessions over at D Scoop in Denver earlier this year, and that whole conversation around having a coach or a therapist, a sounding board, whatever it is to you, it can be something different to everyone. But
But your
you all
friends are
we
not
all
your
need.
friend. Sorry, your friends are not a coach or a therapist.
Mm,
And you don't want to be talking about everything to your friends,
yeah,
because they don't know how to. They'll respond to you in a loving, caring way, but it
yeah,
might
yeah.
not be the right response.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, you and I both know from the consultancy and the coaching side as well. you need someone who's going to push your boundaries, who's going to challenge you when you need challenged, and say the things that you don't want to hear sometimes. And friends don't do that. So yeah, no, I'm a huge advocate for it. And again, from a coaching perspective, I've got 3 coaches that I work with now for different areas of my life, for my business, and honestly, like you said, you can't live without them as well. So let's come to. We've obviously got to know each other a lot better through the All Stars. We are both Printing United Expo All Stars. We kicked that off last year. What was the experience like for you last year? I had a blast.
Well, there's my shirt. It's been
Yeah.
up there. It's been up there since I took it off. It was nice. It was nice to be on a team. It was nice to know that there's a group, an organization that's trying to push it, right? Some of the organizations in our industry, people have good things to say, bad things to say. If you take the politics and the bullshit out of it, the hardcore are good people trying to promote a great industry and trying to spread the love of print in any form. And honestly, it was great. Aside from making 14 new friends that all love print, it's a movement.
Yeah.
Right? It's a good movement. So when you're with the group and you're moving and the excitement's there, kind of like in your company and culture, when the whole team's on board and you have good wins together, you continue this, the successes continue, the stories go.
Yeah, it's pretty special. It's really special, and I love the time that we all spent out there together. Lots of nice memories, and we're going to make some more in just a few weeks now. We're at the time of recording this, we're about 7 weeks out.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. 6-7 weeks out.
September 22nd, and you can use Warren 26 as a code if you want. If you don't want to write Colin's name down,
you've got to write my codes. But listen, you're speaking this year as well, yeah?
Yes.
What are you speaking about?
I can't tell you. No, I'm basically, so at the end of the day, I am only about the printer, right? The OEMs don't have to like me. I love the people, but those are corporations that run different ways. I'm about the printer. And I am a printer, and I want the OEMs actually to have more empathy for the people that go and put their houses on the line when they make big decisions and investments. But I'm going to talk about what I really think print owners need to do to run their businesses. I don't even know if I'm going to have any slides because it's a business conversation, and it is what it is. So I'm going to want to hear from people what they're doing. I'm going to want to hear what they're not doing, but I'm not going deep into technical shit or programs and apps and all that. I'm going the fundamentals, right? Yeah. So one thing I want to just say, because I can't say it enough, we talk in this industry about young people. We talk about not having, finding enough young people coming in. And I say to all the owners, start listening to young people. If you have younger kids, you should be sitting around with them and their friends to hear what they talk about, how they think, how they feel. That's number one. But as far as the Printing United is coming, if you're an owner, bring somebody young from your business. Yes, I'm talking to you. Why should you bring them to Printing United? If you can afford to bring more than one, bring more than one. If you tell me that you can't afford one, I'm going to tell you you're full of shit because you make more mistakes every day. You just probably don't even know where the money goes because you're not running your business that well. But if you bring the young person, this is what's happening. They feel recognized. They feel that you're investing in them, which is big because you're spending money. They're noticed. Then you're going to go to the show, and this is where the bigger benefit happens. You, the owner, go to the show, come back, and don't talk to a person in your whole company about anything. You probably don't even remember what happened at the show because you really weren't listening because you weren't there for the right reasons. The person that you bring is going to go back and tell everybody everything cool that they saw. They're going to be jumping around as going to get the fire going in some people, right? The other thing with the young people where you should be engaging with them is in your own companies. If your culture is not great, if it is great, ask the young people to manage your social media. Ask them to do your TikToks. Ask them to do your Instagrams. Pay them extra. So what? Guess what? What they're going to do, you don't have to like. They're marketing to the people you want to reach.
Yeah.
There is things that are so rudimentary that could be done that we do that people just don't do, and that's the shit that drives me nuts.
Now, I cannot believe we've been speaking for 45 minutes now. You've not done a shameless plug for your store yet, so I'm going to give you the chance. So two things. Obviously, you've written a book, which is brilliant.
Oh, I just happen to have it here.
Oh, imagine that. It's called Printing's Alive. People, where can they get it?
First of all, it's a great cover. You see the pink? You don't need a press that has pink as a fifth color. This is done in CMYK. Okay, I had presses with extra 3 colors and 6 colors and 10 colors and whatever. CMYK sometimes. Pink will be good if you do a lot of flesh tones, and then you want Mark Jeeves' color logic, but that's enough of his plug. The book Printing's Alive is available on Amazon. Printing Alive is like the movie, is like the podcast. I'm just trying to have everyone thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
The other thing that started off just as for fun, but I want trying to turn it into a real business is I've got a t-shirt line. It's called printwhisper.shop. It has, actually right now it's got print fishing and a few other pickleball AI slogan stuff. I'm about to redo the shop. Printwhisper.shop will be strictly for the print industry for us, and I will have 70 different variations. I've had so many people call me. I've had people buy them. Great gifts for your employees to show that you care. Don't go knock me off because I'll find you and kill you. They make great gifts for the employees. If you're doing embellishment, I have touch me, I'm embellished, you're embellished, whatever. Give them to your customers if you're selling embellishment. I'll even call me, I'll put your name on it if you want, somewhere small, because nobody wants to wear your big brands anywhere. And I just wanted stuff. So the real thing behind the t-shirts, all of them, is conversation starters. I'm not going with crazy designs. I have one t-shirt in my mental health section that says, my anxiety has anxiety. I've had people buy the shirt and call me and say, do you know how many people stop me to talk about it? I wear it on a plane. I sit in the aisle like this so that they could read it when they walk down. And then I have, I won't take them out, but I have little cards I give out for discounts to come to the store.
I've seen this happen, people. It's real. It's a true story. And I'm sure there's going to be a few. I'm guessing you're going to have plenty with you at Printing United this year as well.
Yeah, last show I was changing my t-shirt every 90 minutes.
Yeah.
In my knapsack, I was walking around. But I'll have t-shirts maybe to give out, but I'll have some nicer stuff. And it's just fun.
Make sure you've got one in XL for me, buddy.
Absolutely.
We need to come up with a consultant coach kind of style as well. I'll leave that with you to get some inspiration. But listen, I know this part's going to be really difficult, but I'm going to try because we do it with every guest.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a quick fire round, but this is a challenging part. Getting Warren to give one-word answers.
I'll try. I'll try.
I'm going to be strict on this one. I'll cut you off.
Yeah. You got to be fast though, because I could talk fast.
I'm going to be fast. Don't you worry. Okay. Question 1: biggest mistake.
Ooh, biggest mistake. Not listening to some of my advisors.
Okay. Biggest win.
Biggest win? Getting out of bankruptcy in 51 days, having 85% of the industry support my decision.
Amazing, mate. Favorite customer over the years?
Oh my God. My favorite customer? Oh my God, who's my favorite customer? My favorite customer was actually my biggest customer because, who unfortunately Michael Chambert passed away. He was, actually I had some history with him, but I helped him build his company in the sense of what he was printing and how it was done. And then he ended up, selling his company and doing great. So that was the most fun and the most fulfilling.
Good. Worst print job you've ever produced?
I don't know about worst in terms of worst, but our biggest fuck up and costing mistake. We did an $80,000 book. Maybe there was 500 books, and the cover had a whole bunch of dots. And when the book was done and it was put on my desk, I was so excited. It looked amazing, except on the cover, one of the dots only had half a dot because there was a problem with the plate that nobody noticed.
Okay.
And there was no redo.
Wow.
Double laminated cover with UV spot.
Those are big ones.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
always
yeah,
a big
yeah.
one.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Favorite trade show memory?
Ah, so favorite trade show memory, Eric Vessels, if you're listening, you will remember this. We were in Prague. We were out all night. We rolled in. It was around, I think, 5 o'clock in the morning. And Eric was behind the bar pouring beer from the draft machine that I guess they didn't close. And then we were going to our rooms. We found some guy sleeping in the hallway outside his room.
We've all been
That was
there.
that
We've
was
all
one of them. I
been
have about 20 of those stories, but yeah.
there. We'll see what happens in Vegas this year. Best mentor you've had over the years?
So I'm going to tell you, again, I've just got a goose. I'm going to tell you a crazy story. Craziest story ever. I get a call, and maybe take a couple of minutes. I get a call from a gentleman. It's the late Aaron Fish. Funny that his last name is Fish. Very successful individual. Anyway, he called me up because he was doing a book. This was a gentleman who wrote a lock company way back in the 60s. So security locks, working with the CIA, the FBI, the RCMP, all that other stuff. Big, big, big. And he called me because he was doing a book for the lock museum that he was created, and he referred to me through another client. I did a large book. I go into his office, we sit down, and we start talking, and he asks me about the business, and I tell him everything he asks. Then I have to quote the book. And he calls me and he says, I just want to let you know that your price is $15,000 more than the best price I have from China. And I'm like, okay. Anyways, I end up getting the job. Why do I get the job? Because his wife said to him, Aaron, you made your money in North America. You're going to spend your money in North America. Right? So I got the job. It came out great. And I told him everything that we did. Then he drops on me at some point that he owns a large format company. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, they were a tenant in the building. I bought the company. I didn't want the people to be out of work. I thought my son would want it. In the end, the son didn't want it, so it's for sale. I said, I'm happy to go look at it. I go look at it. I come back. I make him an offer. He says to me, no, your offer's too low. I have others. I'm going away for a month. I said, okay, great. Can I have last right of refusal? He says, I'll call you. He calls me the day he gets back. And I know when he's getting back because it's in my mind. And he calls me and he says, come to my office. And I go to his office, and I'm sitting at the table, and I sit down, and he's got tea and a little plate full of cookies. The gentleman was in his 80s, old school. And we sit down, and he slides me a yellow legal pad. And I'm like, okay. He says, I'm going to tell you how the deal's going to go down. And I have no idea what's going on right now. And I'm just, okay, tell me how the deal is going to go. He says, I'm going to loan you $500,000. You're going to buy the company for $200,000 for the assets. Yeah. You're going to use $100,000 to pay down some of your debt. You're going to use the other $200,000 for the move and getting set up, because if you just buy me, you're going to be out of business. You won't have any money. And I'm sitting there like this. I didn't know if I heard what he said. Who's loaning me money? So I said, what did you just say? And he repeats it. And I can't talk. Like, I'm blown away. And I said to him, I said, can I ask you a question? And I said, why me? And he said, why me? Why you? He said, a couple reasons. He says, number one, when I was talking to you about business, you didn't hesitate for 1 second, the good, the bad, the ugly, and you just kept flowing. So I know that you were being straight up. He said, and the second reason is everybody needs help at some point. He goes, in my business, when I started, I needed help. Gentleman came in, he put $100,000 in, and when we sold, he got $100 million. And this guy does a lot of help. He gives a lot of charity. Like when he gives money to the hospital, he says, not only am I going to give the money, but I'm only giving it if I negotiate the equipment purchases.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, so we do the deal. I leave his office, I get in the car, and I call my CFO, and I can't talk. I'm in tears. Most humble moment ever. I go home, I'm blown away. Next morning, I wake up at like 4 o'clock because I'm pumped, and I send him a thank you note at 4:30 in the morning. I get a reply 10 minutes later that says, it's enough already. Let's make this happen. 4:30 in the morning, I'm blown away. Then we talk more. At some point, my machine came up. I had a balloon payment, $2 million with GE. I call him up and I say, hey, Mr. Fish, I have to do this renegotiation. I don't know what to do exactly, this, that. He looks at it. He says, he goes, and he doesn't swear, but he was like, fuck them. GE's awful. He says, I'm going to loan you the $2 million. This is the interest. This is what we'll do. 24 months, boom, boom, boom. And I paid him off. I did everything. And it was like, oh my God. And for any other business stuff, he would tell me. But I never asked anybody for anything. When he offered that and he offered to sell the company. So I think that doesn't hurt in me wanting to help more and do more and have a little more empathy for other people.
100%. And yeah, nice story, mate. Thanks for sharing. It wasn't one word, but I think I'm going to let you off of that because it was a really
it's hard.
story. Yeah, definitely. Right, we've come to that point in the show where we ask everyone the same question. I ask you to share something about yourself that most people don't know about you. Which is going to be tough because, again, you're an open book.
I was just going to say, everybody knows my good, everyone knows my bad, everyone knows the ugly. What don't people know about me? Ooh. That's a good one. I don't think there's much. I party hard. I go out. I love my kids. Well, if you don't know, I became a grandfather 4 months ago. That would be new. That was cool.
I did know that, but congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that was cool. No, I think everyone knows I'm pretty by the book. I say what I say. I speak what I speak. Apologize if I make a mistake. I'm not perfect, but I don't really have any secrets. I mean, I tell everyone about my business
as well.
Oh, the fishing is. I basically work to go fishing. Travel for fishing is expensive. So so I can tell you one thing, right? Because family doesn't know it. But I've been on a couple, when we were all together, I would spend more money on a fishing trip myself than I would on a trip for family of 4.
Yeah, let's hope the family aren't listening to this podcast then.
But now they're all good. They've been taken care of, but still. That's when the little white lies come into play. It's like, how much was the trip? Oh, it was $4,000. You know, the airfare was 11, but it's all good.
Excellent, mate. Listen, it's been a pleasure. I'm sorry it's taken us so long to finally officially do this, but we're here now.
I accept your apology.
I've got a feeling it's not going to be the last time we've got you on as well. So, and listen, I really look forward to seeing you in several weeks out in Vegas. I know we're going to have a ball. I know we're going to be extremely busy as well, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Well, hopefully you're going to leave some room for other people to use the podcast room, you know?
Oh, maybe free up a couple of spots, mate. Don't you worry.
I'll give you a couple bucks for priority time. I know how to play the game. Right.
But no, listen, look forward to seeing you, man. Lastly, before we finish up, if anyone wants to check you out, find out more about you, what's the best way to do so?
You could type in Warren Werbitt, and then everything comes up in Google, including my arrest warrant. No, I don't have any of those. I paid those off. No, Warren Werbitt or the Print Whisper. By the way, you know how I became the Print Whisper? I looked up the domain because I was watching the Fish Whisper, and for $24, the Print Whisper was available. That just tells you that the bots don't even like our industry because every other whisper was taken. But yeah, you just look up the Print Whisper or Warren Werbitt or anything print, and I'm happy to talk to anybody.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I highly recommend you get in touch. This guy's got a lot of knowledge to share. So long as all my clients don't start calling you now because you're half the price of me. You need to put your prices up as well, buddy.
That's only on the first 5 minutes.
Listen, take care for now. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you very, very soon.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me. And, everybody keep listening to Colin because really, he's the man. Only if you're on the other side of the pond.
Take care, my friend. See you soon.